Hi, everyone. Welcome back to our 2:30 p.m. live stream. Today we are moving quite. Ooh. My apologies about that. I had too many windows open, so we got a feedback loop. But I love saying everything a second time because you always hear it better than the first, right? So we are moving right along. This is our day of giving. We are here at our third live stream of the day and here to talk about community impact. I'm so excited about the lineup that we have to share with you. Our director of community impact will be here, Christine Orlando, to share about our relationships with our funded partners, our innovative partnerships, and what we're doing in the area of meeting community need. So, thank you all for being here. I'm excited to share that we are past our halfway point of our goal. So, lots to be excited about and lots to celebrate, but we still have more to go. We are so close to hitting that $8,000 match, which would be such a big deal for us. So, we're currently at 6,921. We're so close. We're like at that $7,000 mark and nearing that 8,000. And once we hit that, we get that matching gift of $8,000. I cannot believe it. We're so close. Let's see if we can actually push that to get that during this live stream, because wouldn't that be something to celebrate? So thank you all again for everyone who's given. This is, as we said, our day of giving. This happens once a year. It's a lot of fun. We bring a lot of people out and a lot of people together to talk about what we're doing in the community and the incredible impact that everybody is having. Sometimes it's hard to recognize because everyone's so busy doing their own thing that this is really a chance for us to stop and celebrate. Our theme this year is unite and ignite. So we want to bring the community together to unite around these causes, the causes that, as we talked about this morning, our youth mental health, our recovery community, supporting people through the 988 crisis hotline. You can go back and watch our live stream about that. But one of the things that we walked away with was there is hope. There is hope when we all collectively come together to unite over these community needs and ignite our passion to make a difference. And as we talked about in our last segment, you may not be able to donate today, but there's always other ways to give. And you can help us out by hitting that like button and sharing this live stream into your own feed and letting folks know about the good work that United Way and some of the funded partners that you're going to be hearing from today. I'm so excited. We talked about a lot of the things that they're going to be sharing with you today, and I know it's going to be a really good lineup for everyone. So thank you again. I would be remiss in talking about our matching gift if I didn't mention our sponsor. So Fulton Bank has sponsored this segment. You heard from Wise Markets and Service First earlier today. Fulton Bank is our third matching gift sponsor. So we do just want to say a big thank you to them for making this day possible and for allowing us to be able to give in such a big way back to our community. So thank you again to Fulton Bank for celebrating community impact and being such a wonderful partner with us. We can't thank you enough. As I said, they are helping us reach that goal. We're at 6,921. I'd love to see that dial just creep up. Look, we're so close. That little thermometer is just edging up every day. And you guys, this is it. We've seen the $50 contributions. We've seen, the small $25 contributions. And you know what? Every contribution counts. And when you are donating today, it's the best way to get to the United Way because you're doubling your dollar, doubling your impact. So once again, I want to thank you all for joining us, and I'm going to bring in our Director of Community Impact, Christine Orlando. I have had such a good time. Christine actually just celebrated her 1-year anniversary with us. I tell you, it feels like it's been much longer than that, I will say. But she came right on board during our Day of Giving last year and jumped in with both feet blazing. And so I'm really interested to hear like how is it this year? How's it happening for you this year, Christine?
Thank you so much, Danielle. It does feel great to be here again. And I'll tell you, last year was a really great learning opportunity for me. So again, learning more this year, but I feel so excited to be here again and a little more prepared.
Being prepared is always, I think, the best rule of thumb. But even when you are prepared, it doesn't necessarily mean that things are going to go exactly how you planned. I think I mentioned earlier, I was just knocking on wood everywhere I went today, hoping that I would earn up enough like street cred with the tech gods that like nothing would go wrong, right? Nothing can go wrong if you're knocking on wood. So, I'd love to have you kick things off. Why don't you share a little bit about your role and what you're working on? It's been a year. Let's hear what updates you have to share with us.
All right. So again, as Danielle mentioned, I am the Director of Community Impact. And so I help head up our Department of Community Impact. And when you think about community impact, one of the first areas that we focus on is those funded partners. And we have 56 funded partners. There is a link on our website that we'll share out that shows all of those nonprofits that are spanning all across the 5-county service area. Surely there is one or more that you will recognize, that you have probably worked with or benefited from. Your friends and family are enjoying their programs. And these agencies are really the ones making a direct impact through their work across our region. Their work aligns with the impact areas that you're hearing about all throughout today: healthy community, financial security, youth opportunity, and then also community resiliency, which is something that we talk about. And so it's through these funded partners where we want to try to focus our efforts and help bolster the work that they're doing to make them even more effective. Through this partnership and being a funded partner agency, we come together, and we come together 3 times throughout the year to provide an opportunity where we can gather and network with one another in a really comfortable space. And I equate that to when you go to a conference in your profession and all of a sudden you're around all other like-minded people doing the work, and you have that sense of comfort where you can share what's working well, but also what challenges that you're facing. And you have that camaraderie, and you find those commonalities, which is a lot of times where solutions are found. And in our 5-county service area, one of the great things that happens is if something's going well in one county, it can be replicated by another agency. So when we come together 3 times throughout the year, earlier Danielle was sharing a photo. We have so many agencies, and they network together, but also we like to hear from them and collect information on what they need. So this year, one of the things that we heard was that they have staffing issues and the ability to pay people well, to retain and gain employees, and also volunteer recruitment. And that was a common need amongst several of the different agencies, and maybe not something that comes to mind immediately when you think about these nonprofits and what their needs may be. So really want to stress that importance of the volunteering. We also have a link on our website where we're coordinating volunteer opportunities with the partners. So throughout the year, if you or your organization or your family is interested in pursuing those volunteer opportunities more seriously, we have their contact information. We have what type of work they could use. So it will really help get the ball rolling if you want to take advantage of an actual volunteer opportunity as your way of giving back. And that's such an important part of this community work, not just the donating piece financially. But through the campaign, the dollars that we raise, many are designated to each of these funded partner organizations. So that's something that you can, as a donor, choose to support nonprofits of your choice. So if you look at that list and you see some that you really want to help support, you can direct your donations to that. And the agencies, in addition to receiving those designated dollars, they also have a chance to apply for a more general pool of funding, where we have a volunteer committee who reviews those applications, vets their programs annually to make sure that the outcomes are aligning with the priorities of the community and those impacted areas. And then they receive additional dollars through the campaign as well. So every dollar that you're donating, any size, it's definitely going to benefit our funded partners. And so that's why we want to take time to really highlight them. And it's through the work that they're doing that true impact is being made out there. So I know we're going to take some time and actually hear from a few of those funded partners as well.
Thank you so much, Christine, for that awesome introduction. I was desperately trying to get your image gallery up, so we might have to just come back and visit that a little bit later. But I know right now we are so excited to welcome Peggy. Peggy is the CEO of SUNCOM Industries, and she is one of our funded partners. And we're really thrilled to be able to share about the work that she is doing and all that she plans to bring today when she shares what she's talking about. I'm actually going to drop their link into the chat. So, you can learn more. If you like what you hear and from Peggy, you can learn more by visiting their website. So, Peggy, welcome. I'm going to bring you into the
Thank
chat
you.
now.
Hi, good afternoon.
Hi, welcome. Let me adjust this screen so we can see you a little bit better. I'm way too big on this thing. I want to like get my face a little bit smaller. There we go. So, why don't you tell us about your role and
Sure.
a little bit about the work that you do with SUNCOM?
Okay, great. Yes, I'm just so thrilled to have this opportunity today to talk to everyone and let you know about SUNCOM and our relationship with the Susquehanna Valley United Way. SUNCOM has been around for 58 years, providing services to people with disabilities to help them reach their potential. We operate, our name comes from Snyder, Union, Northumberland, Columbia, and Montour counties. And we were started by a group of families that had children with special needs that were graduating, and there was nothing really set up for them to do after graduation. And so having a purpose, meaning in life is important to all of us, regardless of our age or abilities. So, it started a long time ago with many volunteers as we talk about the role and the value of volunteers, and grew with the tremendous community support. So SUNCOM, has been a staple, a large human service organization. Our services, we have various services depending on the person's needs and interests and abilities. We have community participation support where we love and we have the same slogan of unite and ignite. We want to unite our individuals with communities, either working or volunteering, just going out and being a part of the community. And we have facility-based programs where folks can come and learn a skill, socialize, and learn important job skills. So our job training program is where the funds from the United Way are designated. And that's where our individuals will come and learn skills, work for area businesses, and have the ability to earn a paycheck, and then hopefully gain enough skills and desire to go work in the community at many of the businesses we have people working. We also have employment programs where we look at career exploration, what jobs are out there. We provide assessment to see what would be a good job match for people, and then also placement where we can provide on the site, on the employment site, job coaching. So we have a lot of great things happening at SUNCOM to really help people feel united with their community and then ignite those abilities that they have to live life to their fullest.
I really love that. Living their life to their fullest. I mean, I think that what you do is so empowering, and that is a piece of what's behind the vision of the Unite and Ignite theme, is that we want to see our communities connected, empowered, and inspired. And thinking about, one of the questions that we've been asking a lot today is, if you could realize your vision, what would that look like? So I often think about, what does a community look like if we were connected, empowered, and inspired? So for you, Peggy, when you think about your vision for the future and what you would like to see people unite and ignite over, what would that be for you?
Well, I think that's a great question. And, I think we all come to the table with different visions, obviously. And, we provide services to hundreds of people throughout our catchment area. So that may be different for each. But I think what SUNCOM when we going back to the founding fathers, we wanted to connect people to the community. They wanted to have something that meant something to do. So I view that, SUNCOM, the people that I've met along the way working here, I want them to have opportunities to experience life, to connect to the communities at the level of their comfort. Also, whether it's volunteering, a lot of our individuals volunteer at some of the other nonprofits in the United Way,
Yeah.
and then they form relationships, and so just have that great feeling of belonging. So my vision would be to continue to have inclusion, connectedness,
Mhm.
and shared experiences that benefit not only our individuals, but our community at large. I think sometimes people don't think of services until they're needed in the family, but we certainly know that disability knows no boundaries. And really we try to focus more on abilities, and have seen tremendous success stories of people, may take longer than some other folks, but making those connections and making becoming, success in what.
Oh, I love that. I'm actually going to share something that Raquel just shared in the chat that I thought was really powerful. I believe we should all come together and be there for each other, because some people don't have the support that they need, and we all need a positive lifting at times. I couldn't agree more, Raquel. I think that we all have our challenges, everyone, and it is relative. I always use that quote, comparison is the thief of joy. But when we can really focus on what we can be doing for each other and with each other, it it that's the type of community that I want to be a part of. When we talk about community impact, it really is about bringing people together. That's why I love working with our funded partners like you, because we're just coming alongside the incredible work that you're already doing and just uplifting it, making sure that you, because of how well you do your programming. And again, that's one of the things that at United Way, we support the programs that are doing the good work. We vet those. When we're putting our funding behind the work that you're doing, it's an endorsement. It's we trust you. We know you're doing incredible work. And hey, if you're doing this good work here, we might take that idea and bring it over here to this area, because they need some help over here. And I just think, you're in the SUNCOM area, so that's the area we cover. So, we have a big region that we support, and I love how all of it can absolutely work together, and not be about competition, but be about bringing together and lifting people up. And I feel like we're in some divisive times. It's a tough season. Election years are never easy for nonprofits, because a lot of people are asking money, and people, it's just a lot of chaos. But I believe that there's things that we can all agree on, no matter where we stand on the aisle, and that's the type of community I want to be in, the one that we can come together in agreement on these very valuable things. Inclusion, you use that word, inclusion. Could you share a little bit about what that means to you and the people that you serve?
Sure. And I think, that we hear that word a lot, and being included, and whether it's in school, inclusion in school, but we also know everybody has different comfort zones, is different abilities. So being included might be a short period of time in the day to be in the community, to actually getting a job in the community. So it's a unique type, but it's having that ability to have that opportunity to, have that. I would like to be in the community and go shopping, and then I'd like to work at a store and have that opportunity to be interviewed and hired. So to be open to those, not only our individuals being open and the staff, but the community being open to seeing people for people. I just, over the years, I just say people are people, whether somebody has the ability to read or write like you or I, they still have the same basic needs to feel connected. The sun feels warm on everybody's face, to
Oh,
be
that's
part
such
of that. Yes.
Oh, that's such a beautiful metaphor. I would love to bring up some of your clients and some of the people
Okay.
that you serve. Is this a good time for this?
Sure. Sure.
Great. All right. Why don't you just take us through this awesome slideshow?
So the first picture reflects a gentleman that we have working at our Bloomsburg facility. So when SUNCOM was first started many, many years ago, and we still today partner with a lot of area businesses, and sometimes it's easier for everybody to have the work being done at SUNCOM rather than us have somebody working at that business. So this is a gentleman working on Conair. So we have a lot of local businesses that have supported SUNCOM, and we support them by helping them meet their needs. So he's packaging hardwares that products and nuts and bolts that will end up in a door packaging or a window packaging, and learning a skill, and just great. And then hopefully that will lead to the next opportunity, whatever it is for him. It varies. So this is a photo of Donald and the folks from Community Strategy Group and the CSG. They're known in Bloomsburg. So Donald,
Great partner. Yeah.
yes, and great for SUNCOM. So SUNCOM, as I said, has many programs. So this month, October, is known for many things, but it's also known for National Employment Disability Awareness Month. And Donald is somebody that attended SUNCOM for many years. He started working on our cleaning crew, going into various businesses, and we clean at CSG. And then they hired him to work. So, we recognize, and again, sometimes these things don't happen overnight. They take patience, consistency, and a great support team, which is what we have at SUNCOM. So many staff, have that common goal. Donald has been well received, loved, and he still works a little bit at SUNCOM, but he has grown tremendously. So this was us recognizing the partnership that we have with CSG and Donald's achievements.
That's lovely. Ooh, what's this one? This
Well,
looks fun.
So who doesn't know about Gojo, right? So it's hard to live in this area and not know Joe Snedeker. So one thing that I think is great, and just about inclusion and people being people and wanting to help each other. So our folks at SUNCOM, we do Twice for Tots, we do Feed a Friend, and with Joe coming right through Sunbury, our Sunbury location did some fundraising, and they had the great opportunity of going to Cameron Park and waiting for Joe, and got to meet him as he rode through Sunbury. So I think it's so good to give, and receiving is great, but giving at whatever level is just as fulfilling, regardless of who you are and where you are in life. So that was a great opportunity. But we did different things, and as well as the individuals made things and just collected funds to give to somebody else, which is awesome. So one of our other programs we have is we also work with different school districts, and this summer we've had different programs sponsored from the Office of Vocational Rehabilitation, and give an opportunity through a program called My Work. It runs for 4 weeks, and we work with different partners, and during that time, students during the summer months are able to earn a paycheck and go to a job. They worked at a lot of municipalities and different things like that, doing some groundskeeping, but it gave them an opportunity to earn money, get out in the community. So we hire staff to oversee them, to ensure that they're learning the skills, doing the job. So one, who doesn't want to earn money over the summer? Two, get a chance to put, something on your resume, get supported, and, move forward and say, well, I don't want to do this, or I love doing this in the future. So just that community and in job exploration. So that's one of our programs, our supported employment program. So that's called My Work program. So it's a great program to help students become successful and learn about different things in the community.
Well, that's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. Are you able to take a few questions from the audience?
Sure.
Raquel had two questions. Her first one was, what is the age requirement to be a part of the employment program at SUNCOM? And then she also asked, are teenagers allowed to volunteer?
So, volunteer, we have different events that sometimes we have a big event at Bucknell that, sometimes we have volunteers for that. Usually our staff have to be over 18. So I would say 18, and then we have some criminal checks that we'd have to do. So it would be depending on the volunteer experience. So the employment program, the one that we are getting people into the community, some of those students, we do different phases of their life. So that was a short session for 4 weeks, like I said. So some of the students were 14, 15, 16. But so we have worked with younger students and then people post-graduation, which might be at age 21. So it varies.
So if someone was interested, should they follow you on social media, and would you be announcing those opportunities through there? Should they check out your website, or like how would they, or sign up for your newsletter? Like how would they know to get that information or know when that opportunity would be coming along?
For volunteers? I think they could reach out to us through our website or Facebook and, see what we have available. So we always have a lot of, as everybody does, groundskeeping and things like that. So that wouldn't be, that's just kind of the sidebar thing, but if you're looking for any kind of volunteer experience, but
Yep, Raquel said, thank you for explaining that. I also just dropped the website once again in the chat so people can go there to get some more information. And I also do want to say that we have our annual Day of Giving, and SUNCOM is usually one of our project sites. So if you have the opportunity to volunteer with us on the last Friday in April, which I believe is the 26th, the 24th, 26th. I have to double check my days. I've been very focused on October 24th. So, but on our annual Day of Giving, you can actually select if you have a preference. So if you were preferring to be placed at SUNCOM, you can just let us know in your volunteer sign-up sheet, and then we'll send you there on that day, and you get to be a part of the big, 260 plus volunteers that go into the community and help. And SUNCOM is one of those nonprofits that we'd love to serve on that day.
And we love having you. You've helped tremendously over the years, all kinds of different tasks you've helped with. So,
well, we're there to do the nitty gritty, the stuff that you can't get to day to day. And that's really what that event is about. And, but yes, we love that. So I just also wanted to thank you again for joining us today. Do you have any success stories of a client who worked in this region? I mean, I think we just talked about the young man who,
Donald. Yes.
Donald. So that was one of your success stories. Yes. And why would you say that your partnership with the United Way is important as a funded partner? People hear that, but what does that actually mean?
Sure. So, I think SUNCOM has been offering services to people with disabilities and their families and businesses just, to make that connection. But as a funded partner, with the Susquehanna United Way, we do value that relationship. I think because we have so many shared interests, making the community better, improving people's lives, and it's just better together. When people get together for the same common interests, who doesn't want to live in a better community that cares about each other, regardless of the other stuff, so our support that we receive, makes it possible for us to join this group of folks at the United Way, get awareness out there to our services, and then connectedness, and us helping other agencies as well. So I think it's, invaluable, actually.
As
well as.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
No, as most valuable as it is too. So.
Yeah, I actually love how things come full circle. So I'm thinking about how we have volunteers go for the day of action, but we have definitely used SUNCOM volunteers to help us with our campaign mailings. So like that was one thing, you know, I just love, as you said, it's like we come together and we can do so much more together. And I think one of the exciting things we love to see about this Day of Giving is truly just the like-mindedness of people coming together for these amazing causes.
Right.
So one final question. What do you want to see people united and ignited for in our community today?
I think more acceptance, inclusion, less division. You know, just united. You live united. You know, that's been the slogan and the theme for so long, but it's relevant today, and as it was when it first started. You know, just living in community. Our communities are changing. They're always going to change. When you grow, you change. You know, and change sometimes is difficult, but having you know, being open-minded to change and to living together is important for all of us.
I love that. I couldn't have said that any better. So Peggy, thank you so much for being here. And is there any other final things you want to share with us today before we say goodbye?
No, I just, again, thank you so much for the opportunity. It's just great to be a part of this organization. And, you know, I hope everybody, you know, today's the day to give. And, you know, as you said, Danielle, if not today, and there's so many ways to give, just to spread the word and to be positive about our communities is awesome too. So thank you.
We're so close to that matching gift. That one.
You can do it. We can do it.
I know you can do it. Yes.
Yes,
Well,
yes.
Peggy, thank you. It was a joy. I had such a blast.
Thank you again.
Yes, thank you. And enjoy the rest of your day. I know you've had a very busy week, so I hope you can enjoy the rest of your week.
Certainly can. It's been all positive and all good things. So thank you.
Awesome. Well, Peggy, enjoy the rest of your day, and thanks for joining us.
Yes. Bye-bye. Thanks again.
Bye-bye. Oh, Raquel, thank you so much. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank you for this. And Danielle, I think she also wanted to share that, you know, 100% heart emoji. Yeah. Just coming together as a community. You know, we are just so privileged to work with the people that we work with. And it really is, you know, that's why I love today, because we get to talk about the good work that everybody's doing. So I'm also going to bring in Peter. Peter Brown is from the American Red Cross, and I'm just so excited for him to join us. Hello, welcome, Peter. Oh, okay, now try again.
Try that again. Hi, Danielle.
There you are. Okay, we
Great
got
to
you.
be here. Thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, it's our pleasure. Absolute pleasure. I know that you have a lot that you are going to share with us today. So why don't you just kick things off with telling people who you are and a little bit about the work that you do at the American Red Cross, because American Red Cross does a lot. They're like our organization. So why don't you share what you do there?
Sure. And so the American Red Cross was founded in 1881, and there were local chapters founded here in the Susquehanna Valley as far back as 1917. So there's a huge, lengthy history of Red Cross service and support. Most people know us for two things. We are the disaster response organization. We're actually the only organization chartered by Congress to deliver emergency relief to the American people.
Oh, wow.
We take that very seriously.
Yeah.
In the Susquehanna Valley, that means responding to home fires, which is typically 40 to 60 per year. So on average, about once a week, a family in the Susquehanna Valley experiences a home fire. And Red Cross volunteers are there to help them with their immediate needs for shelter, food, and clothing. And the caseworkers will work with those families sometimes for several months to help them get back on their feet.
Wow.
The other thing people know about us is that we collect and distribute about 40% of the nation's blood supply.
That's incredible.
On a per capita basis, the 5-county area really supports blood drives incredibly well. We collect as much blood here in these counties. We collect more blood here than we do in the Lehigh Valley, and the population is about 1/3. So just to give you some idea, there's such a long strong history here of communities and organizations and individuals who support the need for blood. Some of the things that we do that you may not be as familiar with is our history of service to the armed forces. We provide emergency communication services for active duty military. So that means if you have a son or daughter that's in the military and they're overseas and there's a family illness or a family crisis of some kind, we help facilitate that communication, work with the military to see if there's a way for that soldier to come home or that Navy person. We work with all the branches of the service to be able to address that family crisis, safely return. And then we also have caseworkers who follow up with that family to see if there are any other resources that we can bring to help them. That's a piece of what we do that's been happening for a very long time. And we do hundreds of those every year across the footprint.
Oh, wow.
The other thing locally, and this kind of ties us, how do we in Pennsylvania get involved when there's a large national disaster, such as what we're seeing currently in Florida with Hurricane Helene and then Hurricane Milton, and kind of the forgotten hurricane in August, Hurricane Debbie. So because we're fortunate here in Pennsylvania, we don't have a lot of large natural disasters. We have localized flooding. We sometimes have a winter storm that create challenges for several days. So Pennsylvania is counted on to be able to send trained volunteers all over the country to help with large-scale disasters. We've had over a dozen volunteers from our Pennsylvania Rivers chapter and over 75 different volunteers from across Pennsylvania that have gone to Florida, North Carolina, Tennessee, in the last 4 to 6 weeks.
Wow.
So those volunteers give up their time. They spend a lot of time in training so that they're prepared to do things like distributing feeding through a truck system, managing a shelter, providing disaster mental health or spiritual care support. So one of the things that you're getting by supporting the Red Cross is you're already part of the solution to help those areas that are hit by those large natural disasters. Then locally, we also in the last 10 years have focused a lot on community and family preparedness. So what does that mean?
Yeah.
We have education and training programs that we can deliver from kindergarten age through senior citizens about home fire safety, about disaster preparedness, about how to make sure that your small business is prepared to handle the disaster. You know, if what would happen if there was a flood and you had to close your business tomorrow for a week? Have you thought through all the things that you might need to do? For families in their homes, the education is around having a family preparedness plan for a home fire. How would we get out of the home? You have a 50% better odds of surviving a home fire if you have working smoke alarms and if you have an emergency plan and you have an evacuation plan. So
50%.
we partner 50%. We partner with local fire companies all over the Susquehanna Valley to provide in-home fire safety training and check and install free smoke alarms in communities that have the highest risk. We frequently see fire activity in Berwick, Bloomsburg, Mount Carmel. There are several others. Those are the ones that tend to be more frequent. So we've put a lot of time and effort. We've actually partnered with the United Way 2 different times to have more organizations come out and help us do that work. So we have an office in Lewisburg. Our chapter also has offices in Reading and Allentown. But it's really a locally driven organization that relies on the power of local volunteers. 90% of our workforce are volunteers. Wow. I'm one of 5 paid staff people that supports our 9-county Pennsylvania Rivers chapter. We have over 400 registered volunteers, a lot of whom are active on a day-to-day basis, whether that's helping in a blood drive or responding to a fire at 2 o'clock in the morning, or coming in and making copies of training programs so that we can go out and meet with a local senior center.
So if someone wanted to volunteer with the organization, should they visit your website, or how would it be best for them to reach out to you and let you know that they were interested in working with you? Great question.
So if you're comfortable using a laptop or a desktop computer, you can go to www.redcross.org/volunteer. And if you don't remember the /volunteer, don't worry, because on the website, it'll ask you if you want to volunteer, click here. If you're not comfortable or you don't have access to the internet, you can also call 1-800-RED-CROSS and just indicate that you're interested in volunteering. They'll ask you for your zip code, where you live, and then you'll be connected to one of our locally based volunteers who will follow up with a phone call, talk with you about what your interests are, what your capabilities are, and what kind of a fit might be the best opportunity for you. And we have a great onboarding and training program and lots of opportunities for volunteers to get out and help the community. We also try to do a lot to make sure our volunteers know that they're appreciated. So we have at least twice a year, we have luncheons or dinners. We provide recognition for years of service and for the number of hours that volunteers provide. We have volunteers in the area that provide over 1,000 hours per year of service to the community through the Red Cross. So
those are those golden volunteers that are just like, you're like, I don't, they're invaluable. Like, if we could just have a couple more of those, like, could you imagine what we could do? But,
And, I think just along with that, if you want to come out and help us do a smoke alarm installation, you can just be a volunteer for a day.
Oh,
if you want to work as a donor ambassador and help people check in at blood drives and make sure that they have a drink and a cookie before they leave so they don't pass out on their way home.
Yeah.
You can do that for as frequently or as infrequently as you want based on your schedule. We have volunteers who are here in the summer and spring, and they go to Florida in the winter, so they help us when they're here. We try to be as flexible and as welcoming as possible, because there's always a way. If someone wants to help, there's always a way for them to help through the Red Cross.
That's amazing. So would now be a good time to show actually some of those volunteers in action with your slideshow? Yeah, perfect. Sure. All right, I'm going to bring that in.
So this is just an example of what one of our disaster action team members might encounter. This is an actual fire scene in our chapter. And these are the types of situations that we're going to be out there working side by side. We're second responders. We don't respond and try to put out the fire, but the fire and police know that they can call for the Red Cross, and we will send trained volunteers to meet with those families and immediately start working with them on what they need to get through the next few days and beyond with their recovery. This is a picture that I took in Madeira Beach, Florida, and this was after Hurricane Helene.
Oh, wow.
So it's a little hard to see, but what you have here is what happens after a major hurricane. There's a boat, a car, the boat dock, and a storage trailer all together, all in the water. So this is just one example of the kinds of damage that they're working down there around the clock to try to clean up and make things right for all these people.
Wow.
This is a picture. You may see somebody in here that you recognize. These are volunteers from our greater Pennsylvania region who have deployed to Florida, North Carolina, or other places in the South just in the last month. And this is only a handful of the 60 to 75 volunteers that have gone down there to help in those areas affected by the storms. This is another scene from North Carolina. This is our disaster response vehicle fleet, and they're going to be heading out at first light to start delivering meals and services into the community. This is an example of a volunteer and how we do our feeding. So this is one of our emergency response vehicles, and we load those with food. They have a route, kind of like a school bus, that they'll go out every day and deliver meals into the affected areas, wherever type of natural disaster that's occurred.
Oh, you had so many photos, I had to put them into 2 different albums. So I will bring up your next album now. So we'll just hang on tight. Here it is. Awesome.
So this is actually a picture of local flooding. Hurricane Debbie became a tropical storm and did a lot of damage across central and northern Pennsylvania. So these are 2 Red Cross volunteers. I believe this is in Union County, and this is the home after the floodwaters came through. So you can see the kind of damage that happens and why having the Red Cross ready, able to go at a moment's notice. Wow. The funding that your donors provide and that we get through the agency relationship, we have to be ready. We can't wait for the disaster and then ask people for money. So having the resources up front so we can have the vehicles, we can have the volunteers, we have the shovels and the cleanup kits, all the things that we need to be able to respond when things like this happen in the community.
Well, I think that one of the things that you and I talked about at our last funded partners meeting that we were together at was just how disaster preparedness is definitely something that the United Way is starting to really focus in on. I know this has been your world for, years, as long as you've been with the Red Cross, but I feel, we feel as an organization, at a worldwide level, that we're just seeing the frequency of these natural disasters and the impact and the intensity of these natural disasters happening more and more often. And like you said, you can't wait. You have to be able to pivot immediately when something like this happens and have that response.
Yep.
So I think, Raquel, I think we dropped in the redcross.org /volunteer, but I don't know, Peter, could you offer any more specifics on how you could volunteer for a natural disaster? Are you able to curate it in that way, or is it just as...
Sure. I'll just explain a little bit about the process. So the best place to start is either by calling 1-800-Red Cross or going to that the link that you provided. Through there, you can look at some of the opportunities that are available. We have recently, because of the need we have for volunteers to go to Florida and other areas affected by the hurricanes, we've actually had brand new volunteers who've called in, done online training, worked with one of our team members to get ready, and have deployed to Florida or other areas in the South within 2 or 3 days of when they decided they wanted to become a Red Cross volunteer. We also need volunteers here locally. So when we send volunteers to Florida, all the things here that those volunteers were doing don't stop. So we also need people who just want to get involved. I always tell everybody, if you have an interest, if you like helping people, if knowing that you can do something that's going to take what is probably someone's worst day and make it a little bit better, if those kinds of things appeal to you, the Red Cross is a great place to volunteer.
Oh man, that's awesome. So I think we have... I when you when you shared this, I was like, what am I looking at? So I went...
So this in a way is a good example of resiliency. And I know Christine talked about that earlier, the community resiliency. So this is someone whose home was flooded, who spent probably 2 or 3 days pulling out all of their possessions and was able to have a sense of humor and say, let me put a hat on this mannequin and just give hopefully people walking down the street something to laugh about. I got to meet this homeowner and they were just, we just felt like we needed to do something that would make people smile. So to me, that just speaks to that resiliency and how people, even in the worst of times, are thinking about how they can help others and make somebody else's day just a little bit better.
Oh, I love that.
And this is just another example of the kinds of damage. And literally, you could drive down any street on the barrier islands on Gulf Coast of Florida, and this is what you would see, just house after house after house after house. And this was before Hurricane Milton. So they were working really hard to get all of this debris removed before these piles got hit by 100 to 150 mile an hour winds.
Oh my gosh.
Just think about that for a minute.
When you said it in that capacity, I was like, that's a danger. That would create even more damage. Like, these are the things that you don't even think about, that like just the people who know. That's why it's so wonderful to have people who, are first responders, and, Red Cross is one of them. You guys are first responders, and, really help people restore their lives. It's so powerful, the work that you guys do. And speaking of,
so this is just another example where a Red Cross volunteer is providing some material goods to someone whose home has been destroyed. But you also notice that there's a hand on the shoulder, there's a handshake. It's about that personal message of comfort and care, and just letting somebody know that there are people who care about them. If you're a donor, you're in that picture, because we can't do that work and provide those things if you're not providing us with the resources to help get the job done.
Wow. So powerful. Oh, here we are. Yeah.
Another example, this is just a different type of home. There's still a lot of the old early 1900s, 1930s cottages along the Gulf, and a lot of them got very seriously damaged. So it's going to be a difficult challenge for a lot of these people to rebuild.
Oh,
And changing topic completely, one of the other ways, whoops.
Oops, sorry, Peter. I think you're back in now. I'm so sorry. Repeat what you said. I accidentally clicked the wrong Peter. So I did not mean to
There we go.
take you out there. So just saying you were shifting gears, so go ahead.
Danielle, not a problem. This is the beauty of live stream, right? You get a unique experience every time.
I was like, I'm looking at two Peters and I got the wrong one. I'm so sorry.
Not a problem. So this is a picture of me at a blood drive in August making a donation. I try to donate at least 4 times a year. But that's another way. If you're looking for ways to help the people that have been impacted by these disasters and you're not able, for whatever reason, to become a volunteer, you can become a blood donor. One of the things that happens when there are large hurricanes and disasters is tons and hundreds of blood drives have to be canceled. Wow. Nobody in those areas in Florida can come to a blood drive right now. So we need people from other parts of the country to step up and volunteer, because it's critically important that there's an available supply of blood at all times. We made advanced shipments to hospitals in Florida that we knew were going to be in the path of the hurricane before the storm, so that they would have what they needed to get through it. But we need to refresh and replenish those supplies every day. There are lots of blood drives available in the Sun footprint, and it's pretty easy to find out where they are. Again, and we try to make this as simple as possible. You can call 1-800-RED Cross, tell them where you live with your zip code, or you can go to redcrossblood.org, put in your zip code, and a list of all the available drives for the next probably 3 or 4 months will show up, and it will also show you if there are appointments available. So we really try to make it as easy as possible. So if you're a past donor, and maybe because of COVID and a lot of the challenges that we all face during that, you've stopped donating blood, I want to assure you that it's safe, and we desperately need you to come back. We've seen a significant drop off in the number of donors from before the pandemic to now. So we're really just encouraging people, if you were in the habit, to please pick that habit back up again. And if you've never done it before, rest assured that it's a very safe process. And each pint of blood that's donated has the potential to impact up to 3 lives. Whether that's a transfusion after an accident, it's a transfusion that someone needs who's getting chemotherapy or other sorts of infusion treatments. You just don't know where your blood is going to go, but you know it's going to be put to good use, and that whoever's getting it desperately needs it.
So well said. So well said. And I think we have this fun one here.
So this is the good day. This is one of those great days, and this is a picture of a team that went out on one of our smoke alarm installation days. So we had over 60 volunteers here for this day. We were actually in Reading, but we do the same type of events with the same types of crowds all over the Sun counties as well. So we try to always take a group photo, because we think it's really important for people to get to see what they can be a part of. That's a really unique one-day experience. No advanced training necessary. You sign up, you come out in the morning, we train you for one of the jobs that are a part of it, and you go out with a team to either scheduled appointments or just canvassing a neighborhood and asking people if they would like to have training and free smoke alarms. So on a good day, we'll install over 100 alarms. We generally, we can sometimes do as many as 300 or 400, depending on the size of the community. And it's also a great team building exercise. So if you have a company and you're looking for a way to get your team out together to do something hands-on, Red Cross, Sound the Alarm, Save a Life events are a great way to do that.
That's so good to know. I mean, Peter, this has been so informative. I feel like we learned something new. That's what I absolutely love about this. So, what can I ask? What is one thing that you want to see folks unite and ignite over today?
So I think really, and it ties directly into one of the key goals of the United Way, is that idea of community resiliency, and really even taking that down to the household level. We know that families that take some time to prepare in advance, to have that evacuation plan, to have a go bag with a supply of medications and things you might need if you have to evacuate your house, have working smoke alarms and test them regularly, you're already more resilient than anyone else in your community who's not doing those things. And the more people who do that, the better the community recovery will be. We reduce the risk to the first responders, the firefighters and police who are out there making rescues, because we're prepared and we've done our homework. So I would really encourage everyone to get excited about having your family prepared for an emergency. So, think about the last time your community flooded, or maybe it was one of those big snowstorms we had a couple of years ago where you were stuck in your house for 3 or 4 days. Did you have things ready that would have been made that situation easier?
Yeah.
So that's what I would say. Let's engage and ignite, or unite and ignite around community resiliency and preparedness.
Well said. Well, Peter, anything else left that you would like to share? Now is the time.
Well, I'd really just like to just take a minute and talk about how important it is for the Red Cross to be a part of the United Way and to be an agency.
Well, thank you.
An agency that you fund. I started working in these counties about 4 years ago. And it was really through the United Way that I found the great pathways to start to connect and build partnerships with the other agencies. We did a combined project with the United Way and Susquehanna ARC the first year I was working in this part of Pennsylvania, where we did a smoke alarm event and we had volunteers from the ARC help with preparing the packets. So to me, and this is not one of the things that you advertise about why it's a good idea to give $1 to the United Way, but that dollar does more than just help me. It helps the whole community because it creates a space where we all work together.
Oh.
I've probably had a half dozen great programming partnerships over the last 6 to 12 months, working and connecting with other agencies that are also funded by the United Way. You can probably tell I'm a huge United Way fan, and I see it as just a critical organization that brings the community together. So if you're not already a supporter, I would encourage you to support. If you have any available funds that you can do that. And really, Danielle, just want to thank you and your team for giving me the opportunity to share a little bit about the Red Cross today. As you can probably tell, I'm always happy to talk about what we do. I've been a volunteer and now a staff member for almost 25 years. So it's been a big part of my life for a very long time. And we are so appreciative of the support that we get from the United Way and from the community. We cannot do what we do without volunteers and donations from the community.
Well, Peter, thank you. We couldn't have embodied what I'm passionate about, which is the people coming together and supporting each other. And as you said, those connection points that are made and bringing our community together and working across all the different, organizations and how we can collectively have an even greater impact because we're working together. So I couldn't have said it better. Thank you so much. And thank you for being here and sharing. We of course love to hear what you're doing. And, couldn't have been a better time to talk about the work of the Red Cross, just with everything that's happening, unfortunately. But I think it's a good time for people to know, oh, I think we just lost Peter. Oh no. Maybe he'll come back. But Peter, thank you. Thank you for joining. Thank you for sharing. And thank God he left as we were saying goodbye, but I would have hated to have missed anything else that he was sharing. So, but here we go. As we said, today is the day. Peter left us on such a high note. This is an opportunity for you to make a difference, not only in, this segment is about community impact, community resiliency. So if you want to designate your donation to the Red Cross or to SUNCOM, or honestly any of our funded partners, this is a great day to do that. So we celebrate them, we celebrate the work that they do. And I actually want to bring Christine Orlando back to really talk about that a little bit more. We do have a few things that we would love to share with you before we head out for the day. And also I wanted I wanted Christine to be here when I shared about our fundraising thermometer, because while we have been on this, don't worry, I was just kind of clocking it in the other side of my eye. And remember where we were at the start of this. So this is where we are now. So just a big thank you to everyone who's given during this segment. We are so close to that $8,000 mark. I'm getting so super excited. We only need what? I'm not good with the math. Christine, can you help me out here? Like, do you know, I guess like what? Like 70, 725? I don't know. I'm so bad with math. Don't make fun of me for not being able to do that, but we're so close. We're very close. I feel like we just need maybe like $700 more or something around there. Stop me from talking about math.
That's amazing. Yes. Thank you to everybody. This is really incredible.
Well, did you have anything that you wanted to share more about community impact? As if that's a question I even need to ask.
Of course, always. Yes. So, Peter and Peggy, great examples of illustrating what they do and making it understandable to all of us. So thank you to them. Their work is incredibly important. And those are great examples of what we are trying to say. Can you imagine each of the 56 funded partners all have their own stories of this work? And every time you hear it, you think, wow, I would not want to imagine our community without them. So our work in providing a consistent platform to give them support is critically important. And that is kind of the traditional use of funding from the campaign. The second part of community impact, when we talk about that term in our department, requires us to remain flexible. So the community's needs are always changing. And we talked about that a little bit. So United Way always wants to position ourselves to be a seat at the table for community solutions and conversations. Sometimes this looks like we are listening to the community about what needs are and identifying where solutions even need to be found. Sometimes that means gathering agencies and the right people, the right community members to make sure that we can problem solve effectively and hear the right opinions. Agencies are often so focused on their important pieces of the puzzle. And while we really want to they may really want to collaborate with others. I think universally we've found they do. They always want to collaborate and work together. It's the time and the limited capacity that make that really difficult to actually take action. So at United Way, we help to take that bird's eye view and again, make sure everybody's at the table and identify all the ways that we can creatively fill gaps and find solutions. And sometimes that means we take on grant administration as well, so that the agencies can continue to focus on their areas of expertise. So this campaign annually also provides funding that can be used flexibly for those collaborative opportunities and filling gaps. So all of that is really important. And next, before we end our segment, we want to take one more look at an example of how one of those innovative solutions and collaborations has been able to make a difference in the lives of so many. We talked about this program if you were with us at the lunch segment, but now we have a video where we will actually hear from two of the clients that participated. So Danielle, if you're ready for that piece, thank you.
In our community, what does it mean to have access to reliable transportation? Without reliable transportation, opportunities are out of reach for so many of our residents. Through our community impact work, Susquehanna Valley United Way recognized these issues and brought together partners to create an innovative solution. Existing human service providers recommend clients that are identified as a good fit for the program. The revolving car loan program guarantees low-interest loans for individuals who would not otherwise be able to obtain a loan. We partner with donors, including local car dealerships, to produce quality vehicles at an affordable rate. Since 2017, this program has put over 30 cars on the road, helping many people in our community. Let's meet two of those individuals.
Hi, my name is Missy Stout. I live in Benton. I'm from Mountaintop. I I've been working at Community Strategies Group going on 4 years. Before that, I worked in schools with kids with autism and behavioral issues for 13 years. I did an after-school job with at-risk kids and worked with an adult client with special needs on the weekends. I am a big fisherwoman. I love fishing the local streams for trout and going to some of the lakes and everything. I also love my plants. I have like 98 potted plants outside right now, plus my gardens.
Presently, I work at a company, or I work at a hotel called Pine Barn Inn, which is located in Danville, Pennsylvania. And it's actually owned by Geisinger Hospital. However, I've been working there for the past 7 years. I am the front desk manager of the property. I've enjoyed my time. I really like that job a lot, and some of the other stuff I guess I do in my spare time. I enjoy golfing and enjoy watching or going to movies and stuff, and just spending time with my family and my fiance and her 2 girls.
My aunt gave me, at the time, it was a 20-year-old car during when all of this happened. It worked well for a couple of years, and then 20-year-old car, it has its problems. So when I was going to work, I wouldn't have a reliable vehicle, so my car would break down. The one time I was coming home from the school I worked at in a snowstorm, and it started bucking. So my decision was I didn't have money for a tow truck, so I drove it home that way. So just it was a car that constantly needed repairs and wasn't safe. And my job at that time required me for everyone to drive. Another problem is in this area, there's no public transportation. So I moved to Benton because the rent was more affordable, but with that came the fact that I had to drive further to get to my jobs. So I was able to live a little bit more comfortably and try to make ends meet, but then with the car repairs, I wasn't able to sustain that.
I had a car up until, I'm not sure exactly when I entered into the program. I want to say 2018 is my guess. So I did previously own a vehicle, and then I was in a car accident. And at the time, I had insurance and everything. However, I didn't have much money, and I chose to actually sell the vehicle instead of paying the deductible. When I found out about the revolving car loan program, I did not have a vehicle.
So with the revolving car loan program and being in a reliable vehicle, it did help me get another job that I could only work 1 job instead of 3. That was huge. Also, I had never purchased or had a car payment before the revolving car loan program. So it boosted my credit score. And then when that time came that I was looking for another vehicle, my credit score was in a really good position. So I was able to go to a car dealer and get a loan that was affordable and a vehicle that didn't have 900,000 miles on it. And I was also able to sell the vehicle that I did have for a down payment on it. It wasn't a lot of money, but it did help a little bit with the down payment. So with my investment, I had a little bit of a return too.
And what it did, it kind of gave me a new lease on life. Maybe that's a stretch, but it gave me an opportunity to kind of learn more responsibility and accountability. So it was pretty helpful for me. It's basically, if I'm not making payments on time, the car is going to be taken away. So obviously that was number one, but kind of gave me a little bit more of an idea that I need to take care of the vehicle. I never was really good at that, so I maintained the standard oil changes, inspections. I guess it gave me a greater appreciation for other people, because talking to them and just being upfront with them, they were willing to work with me. It was nice to have somebody working with you, and it just made me realize that if I'm in an issue, if I have an issue, that I don't need to hide or run from it. I can talk to somebody and try to work out a compromise. So yeah, it just gave me a better understanding kind of money management for sure, and accountability and responsibility.
I think this program is a fantastic program for individuals that are kind of in the middle of situations. Thank you so much for being involved. It's really a gap that needs to be filled, and it does really help people. And thank you.
I don't know if these two people are going to hear this. I worked with a woman named Beth, and I worked with a woman named Adrian. These were remarkable women that helped me immensely. So I can't thank them enough, because they really were. And you know who I also want to plug? There's a woman at the bank. Her name was Courtney. And so these three women were really key in helping me through this process. So I guess what I also learned through everything is that I got to work with some amazing people who were really influential in like just my life in general. Outside of the car program, like I actually had some very good conversations. So, but I definitely recommend it, especially because it's basically a second chance. That's how I looked at it, and it's a second chance that I didn't want to take for granted. And it was nice having, like I said, it was nice for me to have multiple levels. You weren't just answering to a bank, you were answering to other people. So that added like the accountability and the responsibility. But yeah, I'm super grateful for it. Absolutely.
The revolving car loan has helped individuals gain reliable transportation and obtain employment or improve their employment status. Even more impactfully, their quality of life has improved, opening opportunities for them and their families to be successful. Susquehanna Valley United Way, Community Strategies Group, and Journey Bank would like to thank our regional partners and supporters. This collaboration is made possible thanks to nonprofit organizations, local businesses, and generous community donors.
Awesome. How'd you end up all the way down there? Get back up here. Well, I thought that was lovely. But what were your thoughts?
Yes, just a great example of how organizations came together because there is this need for transportation and then creatively found a solution. So this is not your typical, government grant down and that type of solution. This is organizations really coming together and saying, can we help? Can we work with the bank? Can we work with a car dealership? And when we all work together and support this person, they're so much more likely to succeed. And then how that trickles down into the other areas of their lives, like they illustrated. So great example of what we mean when we say that flexibility and innovative solutions. But thank you so much for the segment. And I just want to give my plug to, supporting those funded partners. So thank you to all of them.
Hold on. I was able to get one each. That was all I could get to have pull up, but I was able to get one of each. So let me just adjust the screen a little bit more.
Yeah,
so
these are pictures of our gatherings when we've come together at different nonprofit locations across the region and just spend time together where we can, like I said earlier, talk about our successes and challenges, give feedback to the United Way. So this is where we're hearing it from directly throughout the year. We don't have to wait for reports and needs assessments formally. We get to hear what their needs are. And so that is why my big plug for United Ignite is just to support those 56 funded partners and then also applaud collaboration because it is not easy and it is hard to fit into their regular duties. So thank you to everybody for your support.
Absolutely. And I think you said that so well. It is about the collaborations. And, one of the, keys of our organization is just thinking about all the unique ways that we can all work together. And I'm so excited because our next segment at 4:30 is actually just really going to talk about how some of those beautiful collaborations that you've been so intimately involved in, as well as Adrian, are all coming together. And we're going to be able to meet our new regional makerspace coordinator. And we talked about it a little bit in the beginning segment, but I'm so excited about what we have for the next one coming up. So everyone stay tuned. At 4:30, we'll be back with youth opportunity. And there is some fun things planned. The teens are showing up. They're going to be live from their centers. We have a friendly competition going to see who can get the most designated gifts, and we're going to give them a prize for it. So we're going to share more about that and all the work that Christine has talked about in her work with the community impact and our innovative partnerships. So Christine, thank you so much. And
Yes, thank you. Thanks,
I
everyone.
will see you tomorrow on Friday. And just going to plug this again. We have our campaign finale tomorrow at Brewski's, 22 East Main Street. Join us. Anyone who donated today, I'm actually going to bring that leaderboard back up here. Anyone who's donated today, please join us for a complimentary coffee and pastry, yummy, yummy pastry at Brewski's tomorrow. We're going to announce our final total for the day and also our prize winners. One of the things that I wanted to share during the community impact piece was that we're going to be able to award someone some Be Kind swag. So that's another gift that we have in addition to our Knoebels tickets, in addition to the Give and Win sweepstakes. So we have a lot of contests going on for you. You know, you kind of get when you give, it's reciprocal. So it's, you know, an added bonus. A lot of our donors don't give to get, but it's a nice little thing to always get when you win something. So thank you to everyone. And please join us at Brewski's for our finale at 10 a.m. tomorrow. Christine, any final thoughts from you about anything that you want to share before we sign off for today?
No, just thanks everybody for your support. $722, $722, and we're at our matching goal. So please support.
Yes, matching gift. I can't do. Thank you, Christine. So
yes, thanks everyone.
We're so close there. And again, our matching gift is made possible by Fulton Bank. We want to thank them again for being the sponsor of this segment. We actually just dropped their link in the chat. They're big supporters, big advocates for this community work. That's why they chose to sponsor this segment. So we just want to thank them again for making our matching gift happen. And we're almost there, folks. We're almost there. So tune back in at 4:30 and we will be here to finish out the day. I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. Christine, we're almost through. So thanks, everyone. We'll talk to you soon and have a great rest of your day.